work in 1 minute or less explain the nature of all human relationship. I'm kidding. It'll take a minute and a half. Here's the way that this goes. If you're in a committed relationship with somebody else, congratulations. The question is, do you want to stay that way? Gary Keller once drew for me this amazing model so that I could understand how it works. He said, Jason, this right here is your life. Now, what would be in your circle? Well, you could fill it with anything you want, but the right things to fill it with would be spirituality. It would be wealth. It would be business. It would be key relationships. It would be personal health. It would be all the things that are important to you. But understand, as soon as you get in relationship with somebody, they have their own circle. Now, it would be great if those things were all filled with the exact same things, the same dreams, the same ideals, the same values, but let's be honest, that just wouldn't be human. So we're going to have small differences. That doesn't mean that you abandon your things. Here's what it means. It means that you have to communicate and get together and create this thing right here. What's that, friends? These are the shared pieces of your world. See, the truth is, relationships are when two independent people come together to form one dependent and codependent group. And I mean that in the best way possible. But if you are completely independent, then there's no sense in being in a relationship. So what's the key to a happy relationship? It's knowing who you are, making sure that they know who they are, and then deciding who you are going to be together. Friends, this is nothing more than communication. When you want to be in a deeper relationship with somebody, communicate more. It's really easy. If you want to be out of relationship with them, stop communicating. Friends, go forth and communicate. Hey guys, like and subscribe. Like means hit the like button. Don't tell me you didn't like that. I'm so likable. And subscribe. You want to be notified when we do more of these? Click right here, right now. So number one, like it.
Okay, Jason, we'll like that. I love what he said, because that's not about relationships only, that's about business relationships and working with whatever. So I try to find all those. I don't know how many he did. I don't think he's still doing that whole sequence. So I don't know that you can go and like the thing anymore, because I don't know that he's doing it. But
the framework videos?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, but they were a cool segment, so we'll use them.
Yeah.
And they're pretty cool to start with. Welcome, Rachel.
Welcome, Mike.
Welcome, everybody else. Guess what? You need to say hi to somebody you don't know. If you're online, you got to send a direct message to somebody you don't know. You have 1 minute. Ready, go.
I know. I'm Bethany. I know. I'm going to ask her name.
It's TikTok. 280. Nice to see you.
I talk to them all the time. They're like, your Facebook stuff. I love watching what you do. You know what?
It really is.
Oh my gosh.
Try again. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can't, clap twice. Okay, we're getting better at that.
Mike learned that like last week, and he really loves it.
They didn't say that, don't hear me, clap twice. I stole that, so. So every week we try to focus on our MVVBRP, our mission, our vision, our values, our beliefs, our perspective. We put the perspective up, and I noticed somebody, I think at the meeting we're at, they talked about the second part of it. So you want to read that?
So Keller Williams thinks like a top producer, acts like a trainer consultant, and focuses all its activities on service, productivity, and profitability. Which some of it, I think they are going to start changing that
Really?
perspective. Yep.
I love that we are training based though, that we help you know what's going on, because we got a changing market coming on out here. So that's our perspective. Technology is our main thing. That's how we do most of it, but it's also a human base to it. We're not just, we have AI, agent intelligence.
Marcus.
He's got it. I got it on. All right. Okay, and every week we try to celebrate a culture winner. That last week was Gina Hutcherson. This week is
Jocelyn Nguyen.
Yay! So that means that we have to text him and say congratulations on winning the Culture Award. His phone number is 417-771-0981. Here's what Gina said about him. Jocelyn is always eager to learn. He's reaching out with questions. He's soaking up knowledge every time you turn around. He's learned, and he's a brand new agent. How long? He's in coaching program, right?
Less than 6 months. He's been here.
Less than 6 months. He is constantly trying to learn. So let's blow his phone up with congratulations on that. He will get to keep the Ron Steffes trophy for a week and the little Ron Steffes one for a lifetime. So I turned that around backwards, didn't I?
Yep.
Okay.
Little fighter man.
All right, our vendor guide. We have lots of vendors and affiliates. And we've got most of them on the screen now. We might have missed a couple. Let's start here and just 30 seconds and introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, what you do.
Hi, I'm Christina Ferrante and I am # your lending lady for life. I work at 417 Home Loans and I love Keller Williams. Yay!
Who else down this way?
I'm up front today.
Oh, that's weird.
I know, right? Jess Bowman Insurance Group. We are here for any and all insurance needs, and we just are happy to be part of your guys' team. So just think of us as an extension of your guys' team.
Adam?
Adam McGrath with Comparion Insurance Agency. We're a full-service insurance brokerage, and we appreciate getting to work with you all.
We'll go through. Yep, back.
All the way.
Go ahead. Yep, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm Anton Kalashnikov. I'm with Community Mortgage Brokers. We're mortgage brokers here in town.
Awesome.
Thanks for being here. Legal Land.
Stacy Strong with Legal Land Title. We will help you with all of your closing needs and questions, so give me a call.
Cool. Great American.
Like us, Great American. Same.
Adam.
Anybody online?
You know, this month is Ask the Professionals. So
That's
we have
right.
professionals to ask questions.
That's
about.
what, we're really excited about that we have a different theme each week. Also, we did not get Achosa on there yet. So Achosa.
Add the logo to it.
There we go.
Yep.
I'll give this up to Haley so she can add that later. We love having our vendors and our affiliates here. The big thing is talk with them afterwards. That's why they're here to help you learn things, grow your business, and have different connections. So make sure you're doing that. Okay, Jim and Don, what do we have today?
Probably nothing, except just a reminder that you cannot charge the home warranty or your buyer's fee under seller's concessions. I had that question yesterday. I just couldn't believe it. I thought, that's right there on paragraph 10, line 302. You can see it right there. It says it. You know, the lender can say, I'll take all of this, I'll take all of this, but it clearly states those are two things they can't charge under seller concessions. So the question was, could we add it to have an amendment and add it to the contract since there was extra money there already in the concession? I said you could, but the seller doesn't have to do it, obviously. I mean, the lender had maxed out the concessions, not maxed them out what he was going to take. And there was still a couple thousand left. So the agent wanted the seller to come in and pay for these things. Well, that's an amendment to the contract and the seller just has to say, no, I'm good. We already agreed on everything.
So on the opposite side, let's say it was a seller's concession of 5,000 and they agreed to a home warranty. So that the seller would be paying the 5,000 and the home warranty would be on top of that, correct? Okay.
It's clear, line 301, 302, 303. I'm gonna pull it up, we can look at it right now.
If only we had contract classes where they could learn these things.
Yeah. The other thing we will be doing on a brokerage level is auditing fictitious names. So if you operate on a name outside of what's on your MRAC real estate license, that has to be registered with the Secretary of State. Now, the brokerage has to own that fictitious name. So we would have to be the one to register it. However, if you were ever to leave, obviously it would go with you. I believe we were told by the MRAC, the agent can also register the fictitious name. So it's a double registration if that gives you more comfort of mind. But if you operate anything other than your license name, it has to be registered. Anything as such as, for instance, Jason and L is Jason plus L. If you use Jason ampersand L, that also has to be registered. That's another variation of it. Even if you do an abbreviation of, you know, Mark Stewart Real Estate Group and it's MSRG, that has to be registered as well. So any variation has to be. So we're going to start that audit just so y'all know, so we can have those conversations and help educate. So we're compliant as well. And then we'll also be getting templates and more marketing guidelines. So everybody understands when you market either print or digital, you know what has to be included on that. Especially if you put your phone number, the brokerage phone number has to be a part of it. If you have to have each office is independently owned and operated because we are a franchise, little things like that. We're gonna do a better job at making sure everybody's educated on that part. So we can help make sure that you're better equipped in your marketing.
Yeah, and there's nothing that we've gotten in trouble for. We're getting ahead of it because these are so the government made the rules.
Yeah.
The MREC has to interpret it, and then they have to go from there with
In
this.
the same way with realty, brokerage, or company, those words we can't use. The other verbiage is any other words that could be construed as if you're your own brokerage. So they didn't give us specifics. The MRAC was at the brokers quarterly meeting. And it was really great insight that the governor is the one that creates these laws. The MRAC has to enforce it. So when we say, oh, the MRAC is not giving us any guidelines, not giving us clarification, they're just being told what the government's telling them to do, and they can't interpret it on their own. So that's where we're working with them to see, okay, if you had to, which they won't tell us, but what would that look like? So that's probably gonna be a lot of legal line questions that we have going forward with them.
So my philosophy on all this is winners find a way. So we'll figure out how to make it work, and we'll do it right, and we'll be compliant and legal, and we'll continue thriving. So, all right, look at this calendar. This is insane. What's so funny?
You're so funny.
Yeah, okay, here's the rule on that, okay? I don't know if this is true or not, but the government made a rule a ways back that all the car companies have to make so many cars that are, so many miles per gallon. And the car people went, people aren't buying those. But they are buying like like these. What if we made something on a truck that could fit more people? That's not under the car rules. That's how SUVs were born, because it was a way to, winners found a way. And I don't know if that's true or not, but I've always heard it, that's,
I'm gonna believe it.
Great story.
Yeah.
It was really great. Got a couple
It
of
makes sense though. The government says something, so you say, okay, well, we're gonna find a way around it. So, not around it, a way to be legally compliant in a different way. There we go.
There we go.
Look at all this stuff though. Ignite is all through here. And what I love about Ignite, it is taught by all of our different top agents. So you'll see that all the way through. Ignite is to help ignite your business.
Spark a career in real
Yes.
estate. Shanna was in here. Nope.
I'm right here.
Oh, you wanna talk about Ignite and if people can still sign up and how that looks like?
So raise your hand if you were here yesterday in Ignite. I see a couple of you guys here. Oh, Carrie, you're the rock star then, yay.
Hello.
Ignite, it's pretty awesome, right? You're a seasoned agent and, I mean, many years in, and you are still getting something from it.
There's a lot of people who are not new agents in the class.
So it's not just for the brand new. It's not for the ones that don't know what they're doing or the fearful. It is for anybody and everybody. What did Gary say? It's time to go back to basics, right?
When shifts occur in the market, fundamentals get cool again.
They're super cool right now. And we have the best of the best speakers. I've got a couple of them in here right now that are going to be speaking. Wes did a great job. Today, we've got Monica Keltz from Holt Team. So really, guys, pop in, see if it's for you. Sign up. It's free. The only thing that we charge is if you want printed materials, but we'll give you the digital copy for free. There's accountability with it. There's community with it, and there's a lot of really good learning. So yeah, cool. Thanks. Come see us today at noon.
The purpose of it is to get you producing even better than you are right now. Everything we do is to help, because the culture of everything is a culture of productivity. If you aren't making money in this career, you can't stay in it. So that's our goal, is to help you stay thriving so you can do all the other things like our culture things. All right, save the dates. We got a lot of stuff going on and we'll try and focus on each of these as we go. Ignite, we just got June team meetings. All of this year or this month is professional series. So today we have the new builders here. Mike Dooley will tell you how to build a $100 million business in 5 years next week.
And the things that you learned that maybe were pain points that you could avoid.
Exactly. Ask an attorney, June 20th, and then an appraiser panel. So we're trying to get all the tools to help you know how to better serve your clients. Don't call people you're not supposed to, do not get sued. Then it is Pride Month. Elaine, what do you want to tell us about your class?
Elise.
Elise.
Elaine.
Alter ego.
A lot of things.
It's more great time.
He needs more.
Elsie, my twins name. So, happy Pride. So June is Pride Month. And so, we've got a lot of so this class is actually really cool. One thing I'm super happy to see is that this actually came from Keller Williams International. This came from the top down. It was approved by Mark King, and they were super excited to roll this out. So it's being taught all over the country throughout the month of June, and we actually have been requesting, there have been people from South Africa, Canada, and all over the United States that have been asking for people who have gone to the training to go in and at least do like a Zoom class on this. So it's a lunch and learn. Christina Ferrante is going to be sponsoring the lunch. So if you guys want to come down, have some food, we're going to be talking about the history of why there was a pride movement in the first place. We're also going to be discussing some of the most important topics that are more relevant to real estate agents. This community has a lot of money and they have a lot of disposable income. But what we're finding is that there's a shortage, there's a discrepancy in home ownership. And so right now we're seeing a huge spike in people in my community that are wanting to buy houses. There's programs that can actually help. The LGBT housing initiative is something I'll be speaking about. So if you guys have any questions or you're interested in the history of Pride, come and see me on Thursday.
Awesome.
Thank you, Elsinore. I'm just gonna give you a different e-name every time I see it. Mike Dooley is next week. How to build a $100 million real estate business in 5 years. He's
So
from-
he will be in team meeting and then the training will be after team meeting. He's
Yes.
from Northwest Arkansas, mega agent, operating partner at a market center, and investor of all kinds, storage units, rental properties, all things. So we're excited to learn from him.
Very cool. Then a luxury class. Susan's been doing luxury sales in the area forever. She's our luxury committee person from ALC. This is a class to show you what to think about and what to do when you're showing a luxury property or even looking at listing them. So that is the 14th and 11th. Like I said, we got a lot of good stuff in June.
Yep.
Juneteenth, the market center will be closed that day, which is it's a Monday this year,
So
isn't
Monday,
it?
same day as the RPAC golf tournament.
Yep. And summer opener.
We have Pineapple Whip coming again. We will have adult mix-ins if you would like. Bring your family, bring your kids. We would love to have them. And then Mike's in a band, if y'all don't know. And then the drummer on the band also plays the steel drums. So we're gonna have steel drums here as well.
Yep. So that's a fun
He
party.
had a gig the other night. We had to come back from training early, so he.
That's right.
Why was that not posted in the
Yeah.
Facebook group?
It was a warm-up for their main show.
Yeah.
We'll find out more about.
That's
that.
right. Yeah.
That's what it was.
Exactly. It was at the American Legion, Foreign Legion, Veterans of Civil
VFW?
Wars. I don't know, one of them, but it was a fundraiser thing. It was a practice thing for something we're doing this summer.
If you're gonna attend the Pineapple Whip event, please get signed up just so we have an idea of how many whips they should be prepared to make.
Yeah.
That's what they call them.
They're gonna whip it good.
Yep, there we go.
I already know it's coming. I already know.
Every time.
All right.
Surprise.
Then the top 20% mastermind.
That will be, that's really hard, June 28th, 3 o'clock here at the Market Center. Josh Keats will be leading that again. So if you are available, we'd love to have you.
Brandy, can you hold up your calendar real quick? These are at the front desk. If you need a calendar, we've got a digital one for you, but thank you. If you want a paper one, we've got them up there. We've got the whole year calendar too. That way you know everything that's going on. And
Mega Camp.
so that is coming up. There's a registration code. It's also up on the wall above Shanna's head, unless she moves. We're working on getting a flyer out that has all the details. We've found flights that leave that Monday, I think at 10 and get there around 2:30. That'd be in time for the welcome party. Flying back late that Tuesday night. So we're talking like 2 days. The flights, the price I've seen was like $470.
Okay.
So we're gonna have a flyer out with all that info for you all and to invite people from other companies. This is to help everybody grow. It's not just for big teams, it's for every level of business.
Yeah, a lot of main stage events of what's happening and what's working in other markets and how can you take that and bring it back to Springfield.
And who's one of the guests they have this year?
Tim Tebow for the Mastery Client event. So he'll be presenting. So if you've never been to a KW event, I really encourage it. It will be, family reunion will be in Vegas the next 2 years in February. So if you don't want that expense, then I would recommend Austin since it's more central. You can even drive to it. So
Yep.
highly recommend.
All right, Realtor Slides. There's some stuff, updates on the app. You all get these every Sunday night, so I'm not gonna spend much time here. This is important to know what's going on in your town. Navigating the Storm, YPN, which is a lot of our people running that. Lender panel coming up. And if you're interested in serving, you got to have your applications in by June 30th. So make sure you do that. We want representation throughout all the board stuff.
And all of those training and events, it's one more other aspect or another avenue that you can learn, whether it WCR and getting involved with them, whether it be a committee like YPN, event and planning, education. There's a lot of other opportunities to get involved, also not at QW, but at the board perspective as well.
Exactly. And it is home ownership month. So you'll see a lot of stuff about that out there. Use this to promote what we do. Take time with Nicole. Nicole, what do you have for us today?
Yeah, so if you want to go to the next screen.
I did.
Perfect. Okay, awesome. So this was the survey we had sent out last week. You probably got it in your text messages. It's been in your email. So this is the last week to submit this survey. Basically just all over how the Market Center is doing, team meetings, trainings, and just what you are needing for your business. So go ahead and fill that out. And then I am going to steal the control because there is a new update that has happened in contacts.
We'll let you steal. There we go.
Got it. Okay, cool. So there is now a new filter option. So in your contacts, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Great. So I have filters over here. And if you look over on the right side, that it looks a little bit different now. So you can actually do neighborhoods and search if they have any neighborhoods or none. Recently actives, modified, birthday, within last, longer than. So there's a lot more options for you to filter through your contacts. The other thing that you can also do is an advanced option. So if I go ahead and I do where and I select the field, I'm going to do birthday is within the next 10 days. I can also add a bunch of different filters.
Oh, cool.
So where and if instead of all of those options are here for you. So just a lot more detailed way for you to filter through those contacts and create different smart views as well. So if you have questions on any of that, let me know. But it is a really awesome new feature that all of you have asked for, and you can, just make your database even better.
Very cool. All right, do we need to take screen back?
Yep. Reshare.
Look at all those people.
So for those of you that like to do birthday touches, you can use that filter to say whose birthday is going to be in the next 10 days. So you can be more proactive about it. I know how normally on your birthday, you get a lot of text messages and it's a little overwhelming. So how could you be proactive and say, hey, I know your birthday's in 2 days. I want to wish you happy birthday.
Yep.
And what are you planning to do? So that way it's a proactive touch so it doesn't get lost in the communication of everybody else reaching out.
Get you ahead of the crowd on it. Love it. Thank you from Tech Central. Secure location up there. Oh, hit the button. I'll see. Okay, stats. We're starting to see inventory grow a little bit. You can see here compared to last week, it's not a whole lot of difference on new listings. But then if you compare to last year, the gap is getting narrower. So it was like 100 different a couple weeks ago. It is getting thinner. And here's the thing I noticed this week.
Big jump.
Yeah.
Big jump.
We jumped up almost 50 some listings available as of Monday morning.
1,008 last Monday, 1,062 this Monday.
So I didn't see that many come on new. So I think there's some sitting on the market longer, which is weird because we still have bidding wars going on. It's the weirdest mix of everything right now. So, all right, this week's focus. So every one of our ALC committees or our ALC members has a different committee. That's why like Susan's gonna be doing the luxury thing. Drew is our new construction committee person. And so this is the first, hopefully many because we have so many different new builders in our market center. And so this is a way to help you know what's going on and how to deal with new construction things. So Drew, you want to come on up and you can bring your people up?
I was gonna say, everybody come on up.
Let's welcome all of our people. Yeah, that looks good.
Do we want to stop share or just?
Oh, yeah.
You saw it goes.
I say we get rid of that here.
You gotta sit by each other. No.
Pardon me, I'm gonna get- got some slow down right away, right?
Sit by him every day. Awesome. So, as Mike said, I am the chair for the new homes committee within the ALC. And so we've been really talking about different ways that we can bring the new homes, new builds, new construction to the forefront. And the biggest thing for me is awareness and knowledge and helping every single agent within our market center and beyond be able to communicate regularly, know and understand what's going on in the market, and in doing so, become more of the new home agent for your clients. So to give you a better opportunity to perform better find more leads and help more people come to that close home in the home that they've been dreaming about rather than just settling for something. I'm personally gonna say new homes always went out, but I love getting to see my houses resell 5-6 years down the road. It's pretty awesome looking in there and saying like, oh, hey, yeah, you guys marketed our old house fantastically. Now let's talk about a brand new one, just like it. I am with Cronkite Homes. That's the group that I work with. I'm Director of Sales and Marketing for Cronkite Homes. We are a production builder spanning from Monette all the way, getting ready to break ground in Rogersville, Nixon and Ozark as well. So that's just a little bit about me, but I want everybody here, just go ahead and introduce yourself and a little bit about the company that you list for and work with.
All right, I'm Ryan Cantrell, and I'm the owner of Trendsetter Homes.
I'm Ashley Jones. I'm the construction coordinator for Third Day Built, which is a new construction business that my husband and I own and operate.
I'm Brandy Bewley Custom Homes and Bewley Construction. My husband and I have owned that business and they've been builders for over 20 years, and I'm also a KW agent. So.
I'm Tyler Richardson. I represent Aller Building Company. And prior to that, we worked with CRM Building. So we've been in the building business for 5 or 6 years as a realtor.
I'm Trey Nation. I am the Director of Sales for Trendsetter Homes.
Fantastic. So I had some pre-prepared questions that we'll run through. We may or may not be able to hit all of them, but there's a few things I kind of wanted to get conversational. So if you guys, I'm not going to try to call anybody out on the spot, but if you have the answer, please pipe up and just go ahead. So new construction it's a really different beast for agents in general to understand new construction and what happens. What's some key pointers or really important things that you would say, like when an agent comes to you, what would you say is the most important for them?
I'll start.
Absolutely.
I think it's really important to know that it's different in that we are on the same side as you guys. So that is our customer also that we have to take care of on an ongoing basis after they move in. And so it's different than a resale where that seller that lives in that house really it's contractual for them. They don't care anything about who's buying their house. But we really are on your side, and it can be a team effort. It doesn't always have to be the big bad builder, and we've got to stand up and fight against them. And so I think that's really important to know that we're there for the customer also.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. You know, like I know most of us here have warranties that, you know, we stand behind and we follow up on the house. So that's a critical thing to know. It's like, we're not just going to build it and walk away. And that relationship helps us down the road, not just for relationships with agents, but then also with their clients and hopefully family members as well. Anybody else have any?
We actually prefer the agent to come in and sit with the client whenever we meet with them. Because usually by the time we're custom builders, so usually by the time they get to us, you have shown them 15, 20 houses and you're like, great, I'm going to send you over to this builder. I'm going to lose my commission and then you're going to take it from here. We do a referral fee, or you can also do a 3% where you can stay with the whole build, which is 6 months to a year, depending on how big the house is. So we give you options in that, so you can keep that relationship and get paid for all the effort you've already put in. So it's not just, hey, drop them off at our door and then you're like, I'm out. So you can be as involved as you want to, or you can take that fee and then still keep that relationship with your client, because sometimes they're 3 to 5 years in that house, or sometimes it's forever homes. It's usually our case is usually forever homes, but their families will need homes too. So we try to keep you involved as much as you want to be with that client.
Absolutely. You guys have anything to add? I think you hit on something that's really great, and a conversation piece a lot of people kind of have as an open-ended is the build time. So understanding what that looks like, what you just said, it takes 6 months to a year. What kind of build times are you guys seeing? I know.
Yeah, I mean, I'll jump in on that. We're around that 5 month from groundbreaking. But again, we keep homes at all different stages. So we'll pause homes at sheetrock so your buyers could come in to really personalize their entire house with colors and still close in 75 days. So we try to keep stuff all at different stages.
Does Aller have any timeline or anything that they run with?
6 to 7 months if you start from ground up. I would say this year we've noticed, and I'd be curious to see everybody else's opinion, but this year, last year, the year before, buyers foundation will take that one. Now, I think with interest rates, the buyers want to see, touch and feel the property. And so we have homes that we don't have a model home, but we have homes that are 80, 90% done. And we've got homes at foundation and all along the way. So we have a lot of options to create a path to their timelines.
Absolutely. So what are some of the biggest challenges that you guys are seeing today? I know you're saying that, inventory, you've got some homes that you're sitting on 80, 90. What are some of the different things you guys are seeing in today's current market?
I think Tyler, he hit on that very well, that interest rates are kind of a big deal right now because a lot of people are just scared to purchase anything, but especially new construction because there have been so many unknowns, I guess, with building and supplies and all of that. So I think that's been complicated things for a lot of builders.
I'd say yeah, you go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, even diving in even farther, finding land at an affordable cost where we can produce a product for your buyers at an affordable cost. So land's a big deal right now.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that one more. It's a constant conversation.
What do you guys see in, and I know you may not tell the exact number, what do you see in lot costs go to? Because that's a conversation I tend to have a lot, is we get some pushback on pricing because of interest rates, but they don't realize that these lots, we're not building on 20, 30, even $40,000 lots now.
Right.
Lot cost is 50, 60, 70 just to get in the game.
Exactly.
And most of the developers, it's not buy one lot, it's you need to buy 40, 50 lots at $60,000, $70,000. So are you guys experiencing the same thing?
Yeah, we've had a lot of conversations about that, and we're seeing the same thing as far as pricing. It runs that full gamut all the way up, and really, I know through I'm not trying to speak for both of us here, but Trendsetter, Cronkite Homes, that's when we have a certain price point that we're trying to hit on the house, that land cost is something that is extremely critical to account for.
We're gonna have to all become developers.
That's right, yeah. So, and even that though, I mean, the land cost just to get the land and then develop it, then add some of that. So I know that's a really big one that does, it weighs heavy, almost weekly and daily, right? So when it comes to new construction, and you touched on this, you really like having agents come in during like all the meetings. How much involvement do you guys like to have with the buyer's agent? Where does that land for you guys? What does it look like whenever you have a buyer's agent come to the table?
We prefer you guys be there as much as possible. If you're tied up with something and you want to send some buyers out, get with our on-site agents and let them know that they're coming. That way we can at least register you guys and let them know that they're coming out. And also after the meeting's over, fill you guys in on what happened, what they liked, what they didn't like, and just keep you in the loop the whole time. That's where we see the biggest struggle is, people just go out shopping and then they don't say they have a realtor and we work with them. And then 2 months down the road, they're like, oh yeah, we have this realtor that we want to bring in and we're ready to sign today. And we're like, well, wait a second, like what happened? So we want to make sure you guys are in the know of everything that's going on. That's the biggest thing, is keeping you in the loop.
I think one thing to keep in mind too is, like, especially when it comes to a custom home, don't get your feelings hurt. We don't call and say, hey, they picked this granite, and we don't take it directly from you and say that our client wants this granite, because we need to hear it from our client and they have to write off and sign off on everything. So sometimes they just get upset and they're like, well, I didn't know what was going on. Well, we try to do it overall. If you want to be involved, say, hey, this and this is going in, but direct contact between our client and us is important, so there's no miscommunication. We've had that happen before where an agent was like, oh, it was actually their nephew too. So, but they were to hold a certain spot in the granite and the client did not, because it didn't go with their faucet. So we had to work out a thing, or we paid half, they had paid, because we were being nice. But it just helps keep that communication clear with you guys. But it's better to talk directly to your client when they're wanting certain things. And so you're not waiting on a third party to get all that done. But at the same time, we want you to be as involved as you want to be, but still understand there's a relationship between us and that client as well.
Yeah. I take it back to as a kid, if you remember playing that game, telephone.
Yeah.
It's something is gonna get lost in translation. So if you can all be in the same room at the same time, and that way there's no miscommunication, or and everybody's clear on what the outcome was.
And I kind of learned that as well, that I try to, if there's an agent that's involved, if they're building, even if we're building a spec home, but they're going to customize it, I try to keep the agent involved in every communication I have with the client, just because there can be some really weird gray areas there. Because I'm also an agent with Keller Williams, so I'm representing my husband, who's a builder, and then I'm, so there are some gray areas. So if I'm sending a text, I send it to the client and the agent. I try not to have direct conversation without the agent involved, especially if they are going to be getting that 3%, just because they need to know exactly what is going on.
We prefer the agent to be there at every meeting.
Same here.
And I'm usually at every meeting as well. I think the agent's role becomes really helpful for the builder because I can, if we have the conversation, the builder relays information and then I can constantly follow up with that agent. And it doesn't feel like the buyer's getting hounded from the builder. It's coming from usually their friend who's their agent. And so we find that follow-up path works really well when the agent's at all the meetings so that we can follow up with them constantly, know where we're at, what we need to do. And then it doesn't feel like the builder's dictating their schedule and their timeline.
I think to take that a step further, one of the things we really promote is communication early and often, even when it's not related to a sale. So that communication with buyers agents, when you just want to know what's available, you know, what inventory is out there, you know, understanding where the communities are at, you know, what's out there is critical to know, not just for your current clients, but then any clients that may come to the table within the next, you know, 2 to 3 weeks, you're looking at that saying, hey, I actually have information on that and I can like walk you through what's coming, what's getting ready to hit the market. So I know for us, anytime we have those projects out there, getting that ahead of, I mean, a pre-sale is a fantastic option, right?
Yeah.
I don't think any of us here would ever say, no, we'll never sell the house before we ever break ground. No, we want to. That sounds fantastic. But it's the communication and knowledge. And I think one of the things that hurts me the most is somebody's like, I'm just going to buzz through the house. I don't want to talk to anybody. And we put people, I know we have on-site agents. I know you guys do as well. And you guys do a lot on-site. I've seen all of you guys do a ton on-site in all of your builds. And the communication level, being there, being able to speak to what's actually happening in the house is critical. So walking through a house that's in studs, you're not going to get a lot. And there's not a lot of like warm, fuzzy feeling whenever you're walking the client through there. But if we can get you into a model, if we can get you into something that's going to give you the opportunity to kind of expand their understanding of what it is they could potentially be buying, we want to be able to help in that process. That's a big one for me. With today's market, you know, you're saying you're seeing the inventory is sitting a little bit longer. We've seen a lot of numbers year over year that are declining. It's like around 20% or better for a lot of folks. What are you guys seeing as far as year over year performance? Anybody here?
As far as customs go, we're still buzzing pretty good. I think our market's a little different than your all's market. By the time they come to us, it's usually they're either later in life or they have a special need that needs to accommodate for that for a home. We had a client yesterday. We actually had a KW agent with us, and they have a special needs daughter. So the house needs to be designed around that particular need. So we're kind of like all in. We do custom plans. We even do financing. We do guaranteed pricing. And so we walk through all of this with our clients, and then we have a very detailed contract. So you know what hinge colors you're getting, you know where they're coming from, all the way down to doors, you know, everything. So it kind of cuts down a lot of the communication. We have sheets that says, okay, from this week to this month is going to be the stages. You know, this part of your contract explains that to you. This is where the products are coming from. This is where you can pick these products out. This is our vendors. So a lot of that helps with what we do. As far as custom goes, it's a little bit different than your all's line.
Right.
But that's just, you know, 20 years of learning and taking the dents along the way. So.
And would you say year over year, the demand has increased, stayed the same?
It's increasing quite a bit, actually. Yeah.
So consistent, you've got people coming to the table ready. Are you guys seeing the same thing year over year performance?
Yeah, I mean, our sales are going up. I would say prices, the volatility of the pricing's calmed down quite a bit. Right. We know what in theory, we know that it's gonna fall in this standard deviation compared to the last few years. So I don't think that massive jump in pricing is changing. So we have a price. Since I've been working with Aller in almost 2 years, we've never changed a price on a customer. But from last year, you know, 2 years ago to last year to this year, I'd say pricing staying about the same. And the biggest issue is the land cost. Yeah. And that's our biggest fight right now.
Yeah, so we finally get all the materials and everything locked in and more under control. And now the land's shooting up on it. So yeah, absolutely. Are you guys seeing it?
I think it's, the same. We budgeted for about a 20% increase at growth. And main reason for that was we were primarily in 2 communities last year, and we're in 5 communities, getting ready to bring on a 6th community. So
just the availability,
just the availability and being in the different areas allows us to maybe even sell less in each community but the totality would be a growth.
Yes.
Mhm.
And that goes back to the communication factor, right? So being able to say, hey, we have 6 communities. Somebody comes to you like, hey, we're looking at this house, whether it's in Nixa or Republic, you're like, oh, yeah, well, we've got something just around the corner. We actually have a new community we're getting ready to break ground on. Could be exactly within the price point or price range that they're looking for, right? And so that just plays right into it, which is what helps kind of expand.
We've just about got the city circled.
Just about, right? Yeah. I'd say definitely between all of this, I don't think you can make a turn without finding one of our builds happening. And that's one of the cool things. I didn't get the number I wanted to, but pull all the numbers of the active listings that, are standing up here today. And by no means am I saying we're all the builders. There's a whole lot more. I don't have time to bring them all in just for this, but hopefully we'll get plenty of them to come through. It's a pretty solid number here.
And talking on that, like you talk about listings, the one thing that I will say is that sets us a little different from resale is we don't list all of our homes.
Right.
So that's why it's important that we have these relationships, because chances are we have something for your client. It may just not be listed. If we were to list everything that's under construction, we'd have 100 homes under listed. So really what we try to do is we try to list one of each plan in each neighborhood. At least that's how we do it at Trendsetter. And that kind of gets some traffic, but really having that relationship with us, bringing your clients out, and it's not just a, hey, I got 15-minute showing scheduled. Like, come into the model, let's talk with your customers, with your clients, and let's work as a team together to figure out what's going to be the best plan for them and the best time frame and all of that. And then let's take them to see which plans fit for them.
I think it's important too, to encourage your client to talk to more than one builder.
Yeah.
That not one shoe fits everybody. So they may interview us and we not fit well together or be exactly what they want, or vice versa. So I think it's really important to get multiple meetings with people to see who's the best fit for your client.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with that more. That's why we have a full panel, and I'm not just standing up here trying to tell everybody everything about new construction, because I by no means know everything, nor do we build everything. So yeah, that's a critical one. And that kind of goes into one of the things, what are some of the best practices that a buyer's agent can share with their clients ahead of walking through one of your houses or ahead of doing a home tour, like just scheduling that up? And what are some of the things you guys say would be really critical for them to do?
I think knowing product knowledge too, like for instance, my house may be listed for the same as the guy next to me, but I have spray foam insulation. And a lot of realtors don't understand that that's actually a savings to your client because their utilities are actually cheaper per month. Or know that we use well insulated windows, like all the upgrades, we do solid core doors and, inside the home as well. So those upgrade differences. So yeah, they might look like, well, a little proud. I'm not saying apples for apples because we kind of shine a little bit, but with a shiny apple. But our product, we put a lot of heart into it, and what our standards are is less than a lot of what standard practice is. Just because it's just something like, we like this, we know that this is something that's important to us and we're living there. And so we try to put that into our homes as well. Upgrade showers, things like that. Our products are more high-end, custom cabinetry, things like that. So if the realtor can talk call the builder and say, hey, I'm going to show your house today. What is the things I need to know to tell a client? And we'll go over those details with them and see in your notes. We should put them in the notes since I have it listed, but not a lot of builders get to list that. And according to whether their agent puts that in or not. So to get a hold of the builder, say, yeah, who's building this house? Can I talk to the builder? What kind of products do you use? What would you recommend I talk to the client about? Just know what you're presenting them.
She took the words right out of my mouth when I said them, but spend the time and the effort as the agent to reach out to the builder or the listing agent and learn a little bit more about that product, because whether it's your product or yours or any of the products, we're all going to have 3 or 4 things that we do really well or that we really focus on, and figure out what those are. So it's really important to your client. If it's budget, if it's spray foam insulation, whatever that looks like, find out which builder provides that, those 4 or 5 things on their wish list. So it takes a little more time on your guys' behalf. And then the meetings, like you said, the meetings aren't 15-minute showings. They're an hour. So you have to invest some time to really learn what we're doing, and we can learn what you're doing. And usually there's a solution that can be made. So like in our world, we have 19 different floor plans in the community we're in right now. I don't have 4 floor plans listed. We just had a Keller Williams agent at our office the other day. We redrew a whole floor plan to customize their needs. So I think it just takes a lot of communication to find out what we can do and what you need to do. And I would say that probably goes for all of us at some different level.
We don't redraw plans.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, I was like, that's not happening. I heard Trendsetter redraws every single one.
I think it's important to know your builder, you know, the Trendsetter, Bustle, they're like, this is what we have, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's how you can market it. That's how you know your budgets, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's why there's a spot for each of us in this market. And then maybe somebody's like, hey, I just need a new home and I love your plan, let's just roll with it. Or maybe somebody, like we said, may need a special need, or just, this is my dream house and this is what I want to die in. So it's just, sounds a little morbid, but it's true. But, you know, there's different needs for each market. So there's nothing wrong with saying, I'm not moving this, because that's your niche in the market.
I always said that doing something different than what we do is like throwing sand in an engine. And we are really good at what we do,
Yeah.
but you get us off that and the wheels come off pretty
And see,
quick.
my husband said that he loves details. This is what he is. So he loves designing and all that. So that's like, he loves doing those things. So that's why, that's his niche in the market.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's all price point too, and, you know, I like to say we personalize homes, we don't customize homes. And there's builders that customize homes, so you gotta figure out what's right for your client and what's gonna be in their budget, and then go from there and find the right builder for them.
I think it's also important to talk to other agents who have worked directly with those builders before, who have closed transactions, and also even talk to some homeowners who have purchased homes, just to see, because like we were saying, we all do have 1-year, you know, warranties, or most of us do, I would assume. And so just making sure that those builders follow up, because that is such a big deal, is just making sure that you communicate and that you're able to follow up on what you say you're gonna do.
I would follow up, you said something about warranty. That leads me to managing expectations with your buyers. So they take their cues from you guys. If you get upset or riled up, they're going to follow your lead. If you just call and talk to us, again, we're on the same side. I think 2 weeks ago, my nephew's getting his pilot's license, and he went up for his last check ride before he went on a solo. And they were practicing what to do if the engine fails. And so they get up there and said, okay, pull the engine back. And so they pulled the throttle back and the propeller stopped. And they couldn't get it started. And the reason that my nephew is still flying today, in my opinion, is because the instructor didn't freak out. He didn't get scared. He was calm through it. There was a situation. He knew what to do. And so I would just say for you guys, call us, call all of us. We want to make it right for the customer. We want to make it right for the customer. And if you stay calm, they're going to stay calm. They're going to take their cues from you guys.
I'll say the best thing you can think about is there is no perfect home. As much as we strive to build perfect homes, we'll never do it. They're man-made. They're built by humans. So things are gonna happen. It's our job to find those, get them fixed for you. But there will never be a perfect home. So don't promise buyers that your house is gonna be perfect.
And by the way, he landed safely in the field. So.
All right, good. I was like, I need
they did. They failed and they had to land in the field. So that's great. They had already found the field. Yeah. Anyways.
Awesome. Yeah. Going back to your question though, it makes you guys look like rock stars.
Oh, yeah.
Contact us and get that information. You're able to rely it on to your buyers. You guys are a step ahead of any other realtor out there. Because we can tell you, we've worked with realtors that they're not fun to work with. They show up last second and they don't, you know, they try to get in the way and they try to make the experience terrible for their buyers. And it's sad to see, but the more we can work together, that experience is going to be positive for the buyers and they're going to love it. And then they're going to refer their friends, family to you guys. So
Absolutely.
It's a very valid point, because being a builder and a realtor, I actually had another client that was buying another builder's home. And they were really worked up about everything. They're really nervous and like, well, this should be happening. There's a scratch on this. I'm like, it's being built. It's fine. Everything will be touched up. It'll be done. And if I didn't know those things, I was like, well, I'll talk to him about it, you know, and put any drama in it. Then they would have been, because she was already kind of high strung anyway. I still love her. She's one of my best friends now. But try to work for that. But knowing to keep calm and say, hey, it's under construction. There's going to be a ding here. There's going to be a scratch here. They'll take care of it. It'll be taken, you know, it'll look beautiful when it's done. You have a walkthrough. Tell them what you want fixed. calm down.
Yeah, I literally could not agree with you more. That's my last one was what's the one thing you want everybody to know before we leave today? And I think partially a lot of that was covered is the communication. In my mind, that's my biggest takeaway that I always try to relate with people. It's your emotional altitude that you keep with your clients is what's going to drive their satisfaction with the home when they close. And we want everybody to go to the closing table absolutely thrilled that they're getting a brand new home. We want everyone to be just pumped, ready, and excited to be moving in. It's not a fun process. It's the biggest purchase they're ever gonna make. And well, at least within the next 5 to 10 years, right? Hopefully they're getting ready to, if they're buying one of our houses, they're getting ready to jump in 5 years into the next one. That's generally the process we have, but we wanted to have that experience be a positive one. And we want to be positive, not just for your clients, but also for you. We want you to be able to say, hey, I've got somebody in my pocket. I know I can call at any given time. I know a group of people that I can get a hold of quickly. I can get into their inventory. I know exactly what's going to happen, and we can make things really start clicking for folks, making people's dreams come true for home ownership in a whole new way, just by a little bit of knowledge and communication. So that's my big takeaway. You guys have anything? It was, what's the one thing you want everyone to know before we leave today?
We'll do last. Our community, we have one community right now, it'll be 100 homes, and it's at Golden and Weaver in Southwest Springfield, Kickapoo Schools. We're gonna end up with probably 40 or 50 different floor plans, so it's not gonna be your production style neighborhood. And then I would finish it out with just communication. Call me. Like I said, we're a spec builder, it turns spec to custom, and if we need to be full custom, we can do that too. We have a design center in Ozark. So the options are endless, and it just takes a lot of communication from point A to point B when you're dealing with new construction. It's not a 30-day transaction typically.
And what's your price point on those houses?
389 to 650.
How much?
389 to 650.
I would say the communication part, obviously, but also just the market is always changing. We as builders have to be ahead of trends. So everything is always changing for us as well. New floor plans, new communities, everything like that. So get with us so we can tell you about those things. Like I bet half this room doesn't know, we have a brand new design studio that we built where your clients come to our office and design their entire house in one location, in one meeting. I bet a lot of you don't know that. So the communication, the relationship that we want to have with you guys is key. Without you guys, we wouldn't have a business that we have. And so we just want to keep that communication there.
And don't deter away from new builds. Sometimes agents are like, well, I want to sell houses on the market because I get my commission. Well, you still get paid. Like, as soon as we have a contract with your client, we go through the agency and you get your commission that way. So it really, honestly, it ends up being around the same kind of money anyway at the end of it. So don't deter away from new builds, and don't be intimidated by it, because we want to help educate you. I love to educate and have them sit down and listen to everything. So just think of that as an extra thing in your pocket. You say, I can't find you anything, or we'll find somebody to build it for you. Or let's look and see what's coming on the market. Let me get a hold of these builders and see what they can do for you.
I would say just don't be hesitant to reach out anytime. Like if you are looking on the MLS, I see people posting all the time. Like I've seen everything on the MLS. What do you have coming up? If you have a buyer that maybe has a few months, we likely have something that is going that might fit that time frame. So don't be hesitant to reach out. Even if you have questions, I always love just even talking, if you have questions about, we have, all of us know subcontractors for every single piece of work. We were talking about how a house is man-made, and that's true. It's like the only product that is man-made, every part of it. And so if you ever, any of you guys, if you ever need help finding subcontractors or something like that, I think we all probably have really great relationships with a lot of them. We can help you guys out.
I think biggest takeaway would be, are we in 6 communities now, Trey? And so we're still in Nixa, Republic, but we're also now in Willard, Ozark, Springfield. We've added a line, a step-up line. We're in Lionsgate as well, in Springfield. And then I think the main thing that I want you guys to know is that the Cardinals suck this year. And
Let's not roll with that one.
And the Chiefs are going to win another Super Bowl.
There you go. Go with the positive one. Well, I personally want to thank you guys all for coming up here today. I know it's not easy changing up the schedule. I know we all have a lot of stuff on our plates, but I truly enjoyed having you guys up to have this conversation. And I know, oh, yes, sir.
What's your price point each? I know you said 389 in your subdivision, right, was the base? How about Trendsetter?
280 to 450.
500 in Lions
Yeah.
Gate.
We're usually 350 for like a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. All the way, we're building in the estates of Enniskerry as well, so we have like a $2 million home going in there, so.
Ours in the market is between 350 to 500, but we specialize 500 up in custom, but we'll do any custom.
Drew,
That makes sense.
what's yours?
We have 190 to about 265.
Springfield?
Not in Springfield, it's gonna be Aurora and Rogersville. So we do have 6 communities as well. We really focus on that opening price point there.
Jim, follow up.
So, I mean, you guys build a lot, so what's happening to first-time home buyers? I mean, you can do it 190 in Aurora if you want to live in Aurora, but I mean, so, I mean, what do you think long-term? Remember, you used to, right under 100, wasn't it, when you first started?
89.9.
89.9.
And $8,000 tax credit back.
Yep.
You know, I mean, I really worry about that next generation of first-time home buyers because hell, 389, I wouldn't do it now, you know? So what are we gonna do with the first-time home buyers, or is anybody gonna be able to do that with the development cost so high and the land cost so high?
I think that is a big contributing factor, especially for us, you know, getting to 190 has been a feat, right? And, you know, a couple of years back, 160, 150, those were, I mean, it was nothing to be able to do that.
It's
but-
going to have to start with the community leaders, the
Yes.
city leaders. They've got to be willing to go to higher density area. These 75 and 80-foot lots, I know they make pretty front yards, but it kills infrastructure cost. If we can get to
50 foot?
50, 55 would.
Like the old downtown lots?
So like a shotgun style home then?
Yeah. Yep.
Shotgun style homes, 2-story
No
homes.
garage or garage in back or carport or what?
You do a lot of things when you've got 50-foot lots and,
Yeah.
and you can take other parts of the community and turn them into green space also. There's so many more things you can do with a 50 and 55-foot lot.
Yeah.
To make
What's the
the,
minimum in Springfield? It is 5,000, isn't it? 5,000 square feet on a lot?
problem is we don't know, it's built inside the city limits of Springfield.
Yeah.
It's all Green County, Willard, Nixa, and they all are
And another thing that we're facing
still
is,
rural mentality.
yeah, if you want to, you know, I think I was just having a conversation with Ozark yesterday.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, it's a unique one, right? So I can get the lots down to 8,000 square foot lots, 50-foot wide, but the amount of amenities that they're gonna start requiring us to put in, if you go over 100 homes within a community, you have to have a pool, and they're gonna have a minimum size requirement on that pool. The city's requiring it, they won't allow you to even build a home, yeah.
That was just
Put in over 100.
If you put in over 100, you have to have the pool. Even if you don't put in 100, they're requiring you to have amenities. Because those amenities then have an HOA that is going to have to stay intact once we leave. And so they're putting things in place to try to protect themselves and also create this, you know, setting, peaceful setting or whatever they want to call it for their home value, but they're cutting away the density while they're also putting up probably like 6 or 7 different apartment complexes. And so it's a mixed conversation.
Are all the HOAs, do they all wind up managed by Maples or are there other companies out there doing that?
There are other companies that do it. I know we utilize Maples for pretty much every community that we have, but that doesn't mean that.
There's, Stinger manages all of his communities until he hands it over to the homeowners, but that's after the last home site is sold before, and then they have a meeting and then the homeowners can decide if they want to continue to manage it or hand it over to a management company.
I'm really curious about tradespeople because I've been doing a project myself and I have had, as a builder, I know because I built homes too in the past, but you generally have your own subbies that you work with over and over and over, especially if you're doing specs. But I have had a horrible time trying to find contractors. And then when I find them, they're very unreliable. I've been doing this project for 2 years. I started paying people 25 to 30 an hour. Now I'm paying 50 to 60 an hour just to get people to come in and work on my project. And I'm not a hard person to work for, really, I'm not. But I'm just wondering what the trades field is looking like for construction tradesmen. And what you're seeing.
You shared a lot. I would say, welcome to our world.
Yeah, I think honestly, when the market gets the way it is, because we get weeded out and the ones that know what they're doing are here and you know, we're the ones gonna show up and do what's right and do, you know. There's a lot of people whenever the market's hot that, oh, I'm a builder or, oh, I'm a handyman or whatever. And then whenever the market gets hard, they all end up leaving. So you're probably, now you're gonna get all the professionals, people that actually want paid for their time. So that's probably what you're falling into.
Isn't that affecting your lead times? Because if you tell someone I'm gonna build your house in 6 months, and then you have 5 subbies quit on you or take on too many jobs or something like that.
We have in-house, construction team. So we have our own framing crews and we do our own excavation and things like that. So we have a controlled train is what I like to call it. But you know, some like plumbing or something like that, you know, sometimes those are a little hit and miss, but overall, we have a pretty good well-oiled machine.
Yeah, I would say, and we tend to share a lot of trade partners. As I know, it's like some of our best trade partners are also burdened by, you know, the amount of homes that they're building for everyone else. And so we're fully aware of that, and having multiple trade partners to cover off those tasks and be able to kind of have that mapped out. The strategies behind, you know, how we're able to build homes within, you know, 16 to 20 week timeline, right? And that's that 4 to 6 month range. Is only because we have a process that we're following. In order to do that, we have multiple trade partners so we can have put within that system. So
As we wrap up, if people have questions for you all, can you all hang out for a few minutes? And has this been helpful?
Yeah.
We're looking at this as round one because we have so many builders in our KW community. We want to try and do with some of the different ones too, because you're going to see different ones in and out. Real quick, any action items from stuff you learned today? This is my new slide I'm using on everything we do. Are you here to learn stuff and then turn your brain off? Or are you going to use what we're giving to you to do something?
Used to be in education or something.
Really? That's crazy.
I think the biggest thing I heard was communications, but also shadow inventory. There's a lot that y'all have. And so if it's a question of, is there out there, it's probably a conversation of what do you have? So then that way we can take it and go back to the clients a little bit easier.
What, and can you tell like us more, why don't you list everything that you have?
So traditionally, agents will look at days on market, or even now buyers look at days on market. So if we list everything that we have, you have homes that are sitting 200 days and you're like, the buyer's like, something's wrong with it, not looking at it. Okay, well,
$15,000 under.
yeah, so, yeah, that's the big thing that we run into. I wish MLS would come out with something that is a new construction, uses a finish date to start counting days on market. But unfortunately, we're not there yet.
Good thing we have like a president-elect or something in there.
I'll say something you can change for us.
I'm GSBR, that's MLS.
Like,
You know people.
The lock boxes, like you have to have a key fob there, a lock box, and then you have, like, for instance, we'll have studs up and we're gonna have
You
a,
don't have to show new construction.
well, I got a beam for it.
It should be,
Yeah.
because I asked them that the other day on one, so.
Yeah, I said, you literally walk through the walls.
Yeah. Another thing to Justin's question, I prefer showing new construction when it's almost done. Because otherwise my buyer's like, well, I want different trim here, and I want this, and I'm like, it is what it is. So I think sometimes if it gets listed too early, then their mind goes crazy. And Brandon and I were talking earlier, if the house is just now started, your visual perception as a buyer and their visual perception is totally different. I had a client once who ordered all their appliances. Well, 3 months later, they open it up to put it in, it's a gas stove instead of an electric. So there's the more communication all the way through, the better. That person probably need a better agent at that point, so.
I like what you said about personalized, not customized.
Yeah.
That's would be a good line for me to use in the future.
So inspections, can you just touch for a second? I know what you're gonna say. We get a lot of buyers and they're like, well, it's a brand new home. What do we need an inspection for? Why do you advocate for buyers to pay for an inspection or not?
I think we touched on it, we're humans. We're gonna do the absolute best that we can, and we will fix everything that is found. And, you know, while we do have processes in place where we check and recheck the house, having that just completely third-party set of eyes come out and view the home, you know, for us, just creates that extra layer of affirmation for your client, as well as for us to assure that we've done everything that we can at that point to make sure the house is ready for the end of the day.
And new builds do go through so many, city inspections, but I mean, they're in hundreds of homes a day. And so, just making sure, I always advocate always for them to get a separate inspection just to cover all of us, for everyone's, peace of mind.
The one thing I will say about inspections, that it depends on the inspector, but sometimes you'll have an inspector say, I recommend these outlets are 8 feet apart, they should be 6. Okay, well, that's great, inspector. You're not an expert electrician, so we appreciate your recommendation, but code says they're 8 feet. So those are the things that we gotta make sure we're setting expectations with the buyer during that inspection process. These are recommendations, these are code. If it doesn't meet code, we're absolutely gonna fix it. We need to. So just having those expectations set with them.
I think too that inspectors should have a different approach to new construction versus a resale property. I mean, they maybe ought to go get the code book. You just bring it with them to do the inspection. Obviously looking for leaks and things like that, that's something different. But their opinion, they went to some training in St. Louis or Vegas. And then they come back and all of a sudden it's electrical and it's whatever it is. I think there should be a different inspection for new construction.
All right, thank you all. Next week, get this to change. We have Mike Dooley and Paulina. Can you tell us about the book club real quick?
Yes, so I am the chair of the Agent Advocate Committee on the ALC, and we are starting, I know Tim a while back did the book club and he met with everybody, I think, before the team meeting. So we're gonna be meeting every week after the team meeting. So our first book that we're gonna be reading for the month of June is Atomic Habits. I know I was just talking to Adam and he just read it. He had great things to say about it. So for our next meeting, after the team meeting, if you guys wanna hang around, talk about it, just read chapter 1 and we can just kind of go over it and brainstorm and throw out ideas. And then we'll meet again next week. So.
Awesome.
Atomic Habits.
Yay. All right, thank you all for being here. Thank you all.